Hello, beautifuls. This is Atleen, and I'm coming to you with another YouTube video. Today, we will be discussing another CCNA 200-301 exam topic, and it is small office, home office, and is under network fundamentals. So, what we need to understand is that there are normal routers and Soho routers, small office, home office routers. Now, routers basically do one thing, which is route traffic between subnets. So, when we have a small office, home office, we don't need that much power just to do routing because there may be maybe 4 or 5 computers in your home, in your office. What certain companies have done, such as Cisco, they have created Soho routers. And what Soho routers do is combine multiple logical devices into physical one physical device. So not only is the device a router, it is also a switch. On top of that, it has firewall installed, and most have VPN connectivity and lots of great features compared to a regular router. Lots of different services located on this router, like DHCP server, DNS server, firewall server. They're all there on that one router. Now, the router with DHCP, the router can automatically assign an IP address to the computers. And the main thing, though, to remember when dealing with DHCP is that the router will give out the DHCP addresses from a pool that it has. So basically, within the configuration for our router, we can state what range of IP address we want. It's basically called a scope also. And what the router is to give out. Another important thing for DHCP is you want the server to hand out the DHCP addresses. With DNS server services, which turns IP addresses to names, when we have a computer on the network that's looking for PC1, the computer will ask the router what the IP address is for PC1. And then the router will give that address. And then the computer will say, well, okay, thank you. And we'll use that to connect contact with PC1. What we typically will find in our home, small office, home office from our service provider, maybe cable modem or gig fiber, and we may be coming into a wireless router, and there may be a switch you connect into the wireless router, or like we discussed earlier, a switch already built into the wireless router. So hardwired devices, they connect into the Ethernet switch. So now everybody can get everywhere. For consumer grade and wireless modems, they typically have a firewall built in for security, which is what we discussed earlier. There's a trend now of moving our resources to the cloud. Instead of having the big data center where we have racks and we also have top of rack switches and redundant connections, we can just go to someone like Google or Amazon AWS and pay for what is needed. We can just pay for compute resources in the cloud, basically. Last but not least, to securely get to the internet, we can use VPN, virtual private network, and a private WAN, or what we went over yesterday, which is a Metro E. So I would like to read a topic on the typical home wired and wireless LAN from CCNA 200-301, Volume 2, and it's going to be Window Odom. And we're still in the same chapter we've been in for the last couple of days. And it's Soho, small office, home office is where I will be reading from. Most of you have used Wi-Fi and use it daily. Some of you may have set it up at home with a basic setup, as shown in 13-7. In home, you probably used a single consumer device called wireless router. One side of the device connects to the internet, while the other side connects to the device in the home. While the figure shows the hardware as a single router icon, internally, that one wireless router acts like separate devices you would find in an enterprise campus. So what we do see here in this figure, an Ethernet switch for the wire Ethernet connections, a wireless access point, AP for short, to communicate with wireless devices and forward the frames to and from the wired network, a router to route IP packets to and from the LAN and WAN internet interfaces, a firewall which often defaults to allow only clients to connect to servers in their internet, but not vice versa. So let's go to, do I know this already? And there are 6 questions. And then one that pertains to Soho is number 4. Which answers list criteria typical of Soho network? Choose 2 answers. The answer is the AP functions. The AP functions using standard mode. And C, a single networking device implements the router, switch, AP, and firewall functions, which is what we just read. Thank you for watching, and I wish you well. See you tomorrow.